Hello Watertown High School students and families. I'm Chad Fairchild here at the high school. I'd like to walk you through what a typical day here at the high school might look like this fall with the new state ed and health regulations that we're going to be living with. Pre-arrival. Before coming to school, all of us are going to need to take our temperatures, and I'm going to need your help and that of your parents on this. So before you come to school, take your temperature. If it's 100 degrees or higher, then we don't get to go into the building. You, me, none of us. If it's below that, then we're in good shape as far as temperature goes. The second step that we need to do is parents are going to need to download an app called Parent Square that the district has purchased for your phones, and there's a little quick, I think it's maybe a 4-question survey on there each day that we're going to just check. And parents are going to need to do that each day for their students also. Once those things are done, you can jump on the bus, you can jump in the car, or you can walk here, skateboard here, however you get here. Come on to school. When you come to school, it's going to look a little bit different. Arrival this year is going to be different than arrival in previous years because of the need to stay separate. First off, for the busers. On the bus, you can sit with family. You're going to be expected probably to sit with family members if you're coming to the same schools. Otherwise, you do have to be 6 feet apart, and you do have to have a mask on the bus. If you forget it, the bus drivers do have extra masks for you. I'm asking all of the people that drive, and all the walkers, skateboarders, and the like, all of us that do other things, to arrive as close to 7:20 as you can this year. Again, we can't have people here early walking around the building for the health and safety purposes this year, so we're asking everyone to try to get here as close to 7:20 as possible. Of course, if you ride the bus drops you off when the bus drops you off. You don't have to worry about it. So, now which doors do you come in? If you're on a bus, you're going to come in these main front doors. If you are a walker and you see a bus dropping off here, just wait for the bus to finish dropping off and then walk on in, keeping some social distance, 6 feet apart, keeping your mask on, of course, once you're here near other people. If you are coming in, getting dropped off by a car, you're going to come in the south doors down there by the music entrance to the building, just as you have in past years. We do ask that cars not come up here and drop off in front of the building, unless, of course, it's a late arrival, then that does make sense. But 7:20 is what we're shooting for. So when we do go into the buildings, first off, we're going to be masked up. As we head into the buildings, you're going to head straight to your first period class or to the cafeteria if you're going to get breakfast. It is a grab-and-go breakfast this year, so you're going to grab breakfast and you're going to head straight to your first period class. I also recommend that you bring a water bottle with water so that we can avoid using the drinking fountains this year. Not enjoy, but avoid using the drinking fountains this year. Lastly, lockers. Everybody gets a locker, but this year, at least for the first few weeks, we're asking that you carry everything in your backpack so we can avoid any unnecessary travel around the building until we settle into a new routine, and then we'll relook at locker usage. All right, so with that, if you don't mind, let's head into the building. So here we are in the hallways, and in the hallways, of course, whenever we're in the building, we have to have our masks on. And in the hallways, masks on, and 6 feet apart. You can see we put some little markers down, some stickers around the building, just to kind of give us a visual on what 6 feet apart looks like. By the way, if you forgot your mask, we do keep extras down in the office. Just pop down in when you get to the building and ask for one. We'll give you one. Also, for the hallways, we're going to try to keep onto the right-hand side, just like traffic patterns when you're out driving, for your older students. Stay at the right-hand side and keep that flow going. Same for stairwells. We have added this year some extra time between periods, so that you have some extra time to pass, make your life a little easier, a little less stressful, be able to keep that spacing between you and the next person. All right, so let's go into the classroom. So when you come into a room, obviously you keep your mask on. Anytime that we enter a new space, you, me, whomever, we should go and we should immediately grab some hand sanitizer and sanitize our hands in an effort to try to keep the space cleaner than less clean, more sanitized than less. Then you're going to go to your seat. You will notice that a lot of our seats in each of the classrooms will have stickers on them so that we can have them spaced out, and you'll find one with a sticker. The stickers might be different colors. You might have a couple different colors. The teacher will say, hey, sit in the chair with a sticker or sit in the chair without a sticker this period. sit in a chair with a gold sticker or with a silver sticker, depends on the period and how their classroom is going to be set up. But you're going to do that in order that we can know which desks to clean between periods and every other period. So now when you sit down, you're going to keep your mask on until everyone's seated and the teacher gives the word that it's time for a mask break. So you got to wait for the teacher to say, hey, mask break time. And when it's mask break time and everyone's in their seats and not close to each other, 6 feet apart or more, you get to have a mask break, which is going to be nice. I'm enjoying my mask break right now. Now, the other thing that we need to remember is when you're in a class, unlike previous years, you might have to get up, get a tissue, sharpen your pencil, and you're going to have to remember, oh, I'm moving around the classroom, I need to suit up again, and you get up and you go and you get a tissue or you sharpen your pencil, whatever you need. The other thing that you're probably not going to think about right away, unless we start practicing it, is that maybe my teacher is coming over, because I put my hand up and I have this question. My teacher comes over. As my teacher's coming over, I'm going to have to remember again, hey, we're not going to be 6 feet apart because I hope my teacher's going to get close and help me out here. Mask back up when the teacher's next to me. A different point that I want to bring up is there are going to be people, students, staff throughout the building, there are going to be different people that are going to probably have some health conditions, and we're going to need to be very thoughtful and conscientious to be flexible and put our mask on when we're around or in their presence. Might be a fellow student in one of your classes, might be a staff member somewhere in the building, but please be flexible to make this work for everybody. Appreciate it. Next thing I'm going to talk about is our learning model. So what is this year's learning model? Well, we have 3 groups of students. There's a very small group that are going to be here every day, and that will be more like business as usual from previous years. But most of our students are going to be in 1 of 2 groups, either a remote only, online only, where they're not coming to school at all, or they're in the second group, which is a hybrid model. And the hybrid model is 2 days at school each week, either Monday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Friday, and then virtual the other 3 days. So that means, bottom line, or at least common denominator, is that all of our students pretty much are going to be having a lot of online learning, either 3 days or 5 days a week. So what's going to happen is teachers are going to put 5 days of instruction in your Google Classroom for whether you're coming here 2 days a week or whether you're going to be at home 5 days a week. Your instruction for those 5 days is going to be outlined on a Google Classroom so that you know what the expectation is for the week and what materials you're going to be learning and what assignments you're going to be doing. For those that are online only, remote learners, you're going to be working on it at your own pace. We're going to post those new lessons every Wednesday. So Wednesday you'll get information from all of your classes on what's going on until the next Wednesday when you'll get new instructions. Work will typically be due on the Tuesday night before the following Wednesday. So you'll have a whole week, including the weekend, to work on things. For those that are coming in person, you're going to be here 2 days a week, and you're going to get the advantage, or I would call it an advantage, of getting to be with your teachers a couple days a week and work on materials with them and have that face-to-face interaction with them. The other thing that's going to be happening is that we will be having teachers for each of their classes creating a syllabus for the quarter, at least a quarter. Most of them will probably be either a quarter or a semester, so quarter of the year, half the year, so that parents and students know what's coming up, what the learning goals are, and maybe some of the activities that they're going to be doing during the next quarter of learning. But that's going to, I think, help parents out a lot, and students will know where you're heading and what's coming up. So look forward to that. The other big thing is that it's numeric grades. It's back to business as usual for grading. I know in the spring it was very different, and it needed to be very different. It was very uncertain times. But this fall, students are really going to need to carve out time each day to work on schoolwork. They're going to need to have a regular schedule, set schedule for themselves of when they're doing work. For some students, the regular school day, get up at 7:30 or 8. The days that you're not here, maybe 9 or 10, I don't know. But you're going to work during your school hours. You might go on to join your Google Classroom second period because that's when you normally would have class, and that'll work for you. Others of you I know are going to probably be taking care of your younger siblings and helping them out. So you'll need some flexibility in when you do work, but you do need to set aside time for working each day and each week to get your assignments done, because they are going to be graded. You will have tests, you will have quizzes, and you will get numeric grades just as you have in past years, and that's going to be a real key part of your success in passing this year. So please make sure that you're thinking about this year very differently than last spring, because it's a very different circumstance this year. So please keep that in mind. So with all that remote learning, how are students going to get their questions answered by teachers? Because you might be at home 5 days a week, you might be at home 3 days a week, depending on which group you're in. How do you get answers? Well, for those that are coming in 2 days a week, I would recommend that you keep a list of questions that you have maybe on the side of the assignments that you were struggling with, and to really take advantage of that face-to-face in-person time that you have with your teachers. That's a really cool model, that you get to have that face-to-face in-person time. Take advantage of that. Jot down your questions. Each student also gets a school email address, so all of our teachers have them, of course. So email your teachers. Teachers are used to that. That's a pretty normal way to get a hold of a teacher. They'll get back to you with some answers on that. Same for parents. Email is a great avenue to reach out to teachers. There's also the stream that's a part of each of your Google Classrooms, because every class you take, there's going to be a Google Classroom where you're going to see what the work is for the week. There's a stream in there that you can post questions, get answers back from the teacher, perhaps other classmates, but please use that resource also. Additionally, teachers are going to have dedicated time on Wednesdays with office hours to make sure that they and their students are getting to connect with each other. So know that Wednesdays there is dedicated time. If you want to call, if you want to Zoom, have a face-to-face time, set that up with your teacher. Your teacher might be reaching out to you to set that up because they're really interested in how you're doing and making sure that you're being successful this year. So we have built-in dedicated time for them to make that happen on Wednesdays. Please do remember that teachers have a full teaching day, fewer students each period, but a full teaching day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So getting a hold of them during those days could be a little challenging. So we're asking that we're all a little bit extra patient with each other this year, and that they're amazing and talented people, but they may need a business day or two to get back to certain types of questions that they know are going to have a longer interaction time or answer. So please give them that thoughtfulness, and remember Wednesdays is a great day to reach out to them. If you do have questions or issues, you can always call the school and we can put in a message for them to get a hold of you or any of us. So please keep that in mind. And now it's time for lunch. So lunch, here we are in the cafeteria. Lunches are going to be very different this year. First off, there's going to be 3 different locations for our lunches. The 2 cafeterias, and then a third yet to be determined based on how many students we have in each lunch period. We'll have 3 different locations. You'll head to that location first with your mask on, staying 6 feet apart, and you'll plant yourself in one of the seats. This cafeteria here normally can swallow up 200 kids pretty easily for a lunch count. Right now, with the different dots on the tables of where people will be able to sit, we can hold up to 76 in this large space. So it will be very spaced out, which it needs to be for eating. So you're going to come in, you're going to sit down on a dot. You might want to figure out where that dot is and hang out there to have some consistency each day. Then you're going to wait until you're called up, because we're going to call smaller groups of people in line. It's going to be like going to tops. You're going to try to stay 6 feet apart. You're going to have your mask on, waiting in line to get to check out, except for this isn't going to be checking out. At the grocery store, it's going to be checking in to get some food. You don't have to type in your numbers. They're going to do it for you. It's at the pin pad, so you don't have to touch that. You're going to get your lunch. You're going to come back in here. When you get back in here, or wherever your seating is, you're going to get to take your mask off. You're going to fuel up. You're going to talk with your lunch neighbor, who will be pretty far away, but you will have some neighbors, and lunch is a great time to talk. Of course, you can still use your electronics during lunchtime, just as you always have, while you're waiting in line and in here, so don't forget about that. You get to do that here at the high school. And at the end of lunch, don't forget, I got to throw my stuff away, right? The garbage. You're going to have to mask back up for that. Go ahead, take that, throw it away. Come back over, sit back down, and then wait here for dismissal. Again, we'll dismiss in smaller groups so we're not all clustering and pushing to try to get through the door as we would do if we didn't space out. Now for parents lunch is going to be a little different too, because we are offering lunch every day, even if you're an online only student. There'll be a pickup. I believe it's going to be on Wednesdays for lunches. And if you're here the 2 days a week for the hybrid model, you're still going to have 3 days a week when you're not here, and we will provide lunches for you if you desire to have that. But the parents are going to need to get on the app again, Parent Square app, and order lunches once a week for your students, so that here it's pretty easy. You can order them for the whole family. If you have kids in multiple buildings, it takes care of that for you. But you will have to order lunches each week for students, so that we know what the lunch count is and how much to prepare for you to pick up at the different locations. Now, we get called off, we go back out in the hallways, and we're heading to PE class next. So welcome to physical education class, which will look very different this year. So at this point in time, our locker rooms are off limits. So that means no changing. I know, no cheers, guys. Nobody liked that anyways. But you do not have to change for PE class, so you'll come on in. You will need to make sure that you have some sneakers on or some appropriate footwear where you can be a little active. Ditto for any clothing choices. You'll probably, if you're coming to school, you're going to have PE class 1 day a week. One of those 2 days is going to be a PE class day. So make sure to wear some appropriate footwear and some appropriate clothes that you can be a little bit active in when you come to PE class. We're going to try to keep it fun this year, but there will be, again, a lot of online activities that you're going to be doing out of the school. So please pay attention to that. Make sure to log in, even to PE class, especially to PE class, what you're doing for your online class, because that is important, and you do have to have PE credits to graduate. So please keep that in mind. Let's talk BOCES, shall we? So our BOCES students, I just was on the phone the other day with our principal at the BOCES, and she was telling me that they have made room, that every student that wants to come 5 days a week or can get there 5 days a week, they're going to have space for you. That's really amazing good news, because it's a great program that they have out there. Now with that in mind, let's talk busing and how to get to BOCES. So if you're a hybrid learner, you get 2 days a week that you're going to get busing to school, and that's all we can fit on the buses. So you can get to school on the bus those days. You'll go to BOCES those days as usual from here, morning or afternoon, depending on your program. However, on the opposite days, say I'm a Monday, Thursday student, what about Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday? Can I go to BOCES those days? If you can get to the high school campus before the BOCES bus leaves for BOCES, we will have space for you on that bus. We will make sure that we do. You'll need to let us know, like, hey, I'm going to ride the BOCES bus every day, but we will make sure from this campus to that campus every day for all of our BOCES students to have space for you to get to BOCES if you get here. So, but you're going to need to kind of work with us on that. And that's pretty good news. So we're excited to offer you that. Dismissal. Let's talk about dismissal. So let's say PE is my last class of the day. What's going on for dismissal? Well, first off, at dismissal time, you'll hear the bell. Maybe just a few minutes, a minute or two before the bell, you're going to have to mask up again. Dismissal, same as any other time of the day. You're going to have to stay 6 feet apart out in the halls. Do your best to do that. If you are a walker, I would suggest that you use under the bridge door or one in the science wing, so that you go out this end of the building, keep it less crowded in the other end of the building. Our busers are going to go out the front doors. We may stagger the dismissals depending on how many busers we have this year by floor. And if you are a walker, we ask that you go out the south entrance towards the parking lot if you're getting, somebody's picking you up, or if you are lucky enough to drive yourself. So again, 3 different exits. Go to the one that makes the most sense for you. Please keep your mask on, keep socially distanced. Really big thing this year is the fact that we're not going to have, there's not going to be a lot going on after school here. So students are expected and needed to exit the building in about 10 minutes. So you get 10 minutes and then you got to be out of the building and heading home. So we're really glad that you could get here, and we're looking forward to having you here. But we do have to have you off the premises in about 10 minutes after the end of school. So please keep that in mind. Now I have some other things that you might be asking, like about the masks. What if, about my son or daughter, or about me, because I'm a student now and coming to school, what about the kid who refuses to wear a mask? Well, it's kind of like back when I was a kid. I remember summertime. You'd walk around and you'd be barefoot all the time, and you'd head to the little local general store, and you'd get there and you saw the sign on the door that said no shirt, no shoes, no service, because it was a public health thing. And we are in that same place right now where it's a public health thing. So masks, if you're going to be getting to be in person present here at school, you have to have a mask on while you're at school. If you can't do that, we have online learning for you. That'll be your option for the day. But it will be an expectation that if you're here outside of some medical reason or other special circumstances that you've gotten permission from the district office for, you are going to have a mask on. Otherwise, we have online learning for you. And that really is going to be a strong bottom line. So please know that. We want you here, but we want to keep everybody safe. That's a really big deal for us. So, I appreciate you joining us tonight. You may have some questions for us. On our Watertown High School webpage, off the watertowncsd.org webpage, hit the drop-down link for Watertown High School. You probably already did that because you're here watching us tonight. Right where the link is, underneath that, you'll probably saw already that there's a Q&A section for you. You click on that and you can give the questions that you have. We will try to answer them in the next couple days. We'll try to make a link, answers to Q&A questions, and drop it just below that so you know where to find the answers to your questions. So please feel free to share with us some questions. One of the questions that students might have is, hey, do we still get 5th period this coming year? The answer is no. You'll probably see a 5th on your schedule, because the master schedule, we're trying to build it so that if we come back, if and when we come back in person this year, right, we're hoping, we can just fall back in line. So you'll see a 5th period on your schedule, but you won't go to any 5th period. We're taking those minutes and we're putting them throughout the rest of the day to give a little more in-person time for each of your classes, so you need to know that. With that, I'm signing off tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all of your help, and we do recognize it's a very challenging time for all of us, so we truly do appreciate your cooperation. Thank you.